Welcome back to more Sip to Tally. I'm your host, Coach Evans, and today we're going to look at our power rankings. Today is Tuesday, week 10. A lot of stuff happened in the NFL in week 10, so let's kind of get to our power rankings for this week and see the movers and shakers of this week. So, the biggest mover, meaning the biggest positive gain in this week in my countdown, is the Raiders. They've won two in a row. They jumped about five. They actually, for 2 weeks in a row, the Raiders have been the biggest mover. They jumped all the way to number 15 today. If I'm not mistaken, 2 weeks ago they were at 25. Today they're at 15. They jumped up 7 spots. They've won two in a row since they changed the coach. They're 5-5 now. I got them at number 15 in my power rankings. The biggest loser for this week, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars have won 4 or 5 in a row. They lost handily to the 49ers, and they're the biggest loser. They dropped 7 spots, and I'll let you know where they're at here shortly. But the biggest gainer is the Las Vegas Raiders. The biggest loser is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's get into our countdown. We'll start with team number 12. Team number 12 on the list is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've won two in a row. They sit at 6-3 now. And Pittsburgh, they're coming off a win over the Packers. And with the Steelers, they just keep finding ways to win. They're sitting at 6-3, percentage points behind the Ravens for the AFC North. The Ravens have played more games than them. The Ravens sit at 7-3. So they just keep finding ways to get dubs. They're ugly. They play defense. We always know they play defense, but offensively they just keep finding a way. And so right now they're sitting at 6-3, and I got them at number 12. Number 11. This is one of the hotter teams in the NFL, and I don't know how they keep winning games. Justin Jefferson get hurt, so what? Kirk Cousins get hurt, so what? Bring in Josh Dobbs on short notice. He wins games. Then come back the next week and be one of the better looking quarterbacks in the league. The Vikings are 6-2. I'm sorry, 6-4, and they're number 11 on the power rankings this week. They've won 5 games in a row, man. It's really impressive what their coach has them doing with all the adversity they've seen over the past month to month and a half. So now I want to say there maybe a start to coming out of it. Or they also lost Cam Akers too. They traded for Cam Akers and lost him too. So Justin Jefferson may be coming back soon. They're not going to get Kirk Cousins back. They're not going to get Cam back. So we'll see if the Cinderella story continues with the Minnesota Vikings. But right now they're hot, and I have them at number 11 right now. Number 10, we talked about this team a minute ago, Jacksonville Jaguars, coming off an ugly loss to the San Francisco 49ers, where they only scored 3 points. 3 points. And they were number 3 on this countdown last week. But I got them at number 10 right now, and they were the biggest downer or the biggest loser or whatever, however we want to phrase it, in this countdown. And I have them from 3 to number 10. And then number 9, holding steady, they were number 9 last week. They eked out a win versus the Commanders, is the Seattle Seahawks. So, Geno bounced back after what happened to him versus the Ravens, and he looked a heck of a lot better in this win versus the Seahawks. Their defense didn't do what they normally do, but they got the dub, and so right now I left the Seahawks at number 9 on my countdown. Let's kind of get into 8 through 1 and look at the graphics for teams 8 through 1. Number 8 on this list is the Miami Dolphins. They're coming off a bye. They got the chance to sit back and watch everybody in the NFL. So I left them steady. I don't think they moved at all this week. They're number 8 on this list. We know what the Dolphins have offensively. They have to find a way to beat teams that have an over 500 record. They've beaten teams with under 500 records, and they beat up on them pretty bad. They got to find a way to beat teams that have above 500 records, and they can move up into the upper echelon of the power rankings because they destroy the weaker teams. They have problems with the better teams, so they got to find a way to put it together and win some of those games. Number 7, Dallas Cowboys, completely destroyed, and I mean destroyed, the Giants. Almost had a 50 burger, scored 49 points. It was 49-17, and they basically stat padded. Dak had a great day. CeeDee Lamb had a great day. Rico Dowdle even had a decent day for a backup running back. They got after it, man. And it's a total domination of the New York Giants. And that's what good teams do. When they get teams that are down, whether it be for injury or just not playing good, they beat the crap out of them. And the Dallas Cowboys beat the crap out of the New York Giants, so I have them at number 7 right here in this power rankings. Number 6, huge, huge, huge win for the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns went into Baltimore and beat the Baltimore Ravens. Won by a score of 33-31. Overcame a 14-0 deficit. Took the lead with no time left. Never led in the game until the last play of the game. So they did a great job of staying level-headed, kept fighting, made great adjustments at halftime, came out and won the game versus the Baltimore Ravens, so that bumped them up. They are now number 6 in the more Sip2Tally's power rankings. Number 5, San Francisco 49ers. They were coming off a bye. The Jaguars were coming off a bye. Jaguars were ranked number 3 in this power rankings. 49ers were ranked number 10, and they blasted the Jaguars. And I mean, straight up blasted them 34-3. 34-3. Debo was back. Kittle played. Trent played. Christian McCaffrey was, healthier. Purdy looked better than he looked in without his weapons. So, weapons matter, but we're not gonna get into this Purdy debate. They all looked better. They all looked good. Defense played well. They just annihilated the Jacksonville Jaguars, who was at the time the hottest team in the league because they had won 5 in a row at the time. All right, going into team number 4, Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions seem to be getting back to their old ways after what happened to them in Baltimore. They beat the Chargers in a shootout. I mean, this was a fun game to watch the highlights of. I'm going to actually go back and watch the whole game, like the whole, and not just the highlights, because just watching the highlights, I was excited seeing them go up and down the field. So now I'm going to go back and look at the actual plays and see stuff from both sides of the coin and take a feel at this game. 41-38, great game, great. I love offense. I would love if every game was that. I don't give a darn about defense. I don't give one flip about it. Not one. I would love for every game to be like that Chargers and Lions game. But Lions came out on top, moved them up to number 4 on the power rankings. All right, number 3. Maybe a little controversial right here, but I'm going to give some context. The Ravens were number 2 last week. I bumped it down to number 3. Obviously, they lost to the Browns by 2 points. I didn't move them down much, looking at the teams below them. Like, I thought about putting them below the Lions, but they beat the Lions. I thought about some other teams below them, but they could have beat them too. And I thought about bumping the Browns up here too. But then I just didn't. I could have, but I didn't. And that's not me necessarily trying to like hate, or it's just my gut on it right now. And I think I like the Ravens, y'all know that. Losing to the Browns that don't make us but I don't feel like we should drop way down there because the Browns are a darn good football team. And what the Browns had been waiting on to happen, finally happened. Deshaun showed up. Deshaun Watson showed up. And again, like I said, when we talked about the Browns at number 6, they made great adjustments. Ravens didn't make so many adjustments and, came out losing. But I still think the Ravens are one of the top 5 teams in the NFL. And I, think they'll probably be back to prove that this coming Thursday. They have a big game Thursday. So I still got them at number 3. Some may like this one, some may not, but it is what it is right now. Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. Slow and steady. They coming off a bye week. They beat, was their last game versus the Dolphins? Yeah, they beat the Dolphins in their last game in Germany. So, they'll be back in action this week. And they sat back and watched the Ravens lose, so they bumped up a spot. They watched the Ravens and the Jaguars lose. They bumped up 2 spots, if I'm not mistaken. They bumped up 2 spots. No, they're number 2 spot. And obviously number 1, team that, they coming off a bye week also. Philadelphia Eagles. Had a chance to get healthier, rest their players up, and they're sitting at 8-1, and nobody really can seem to do anything with them. They find different ways to win, whether it be offense, defense, special teams, push, throwing the ball deep, running for 200 yards. Eagles find a way to do it, and they keep adding talent. So if something happens to somebody, they got a decent backup, so they probably not going to skip a beat. So shout out to the Eagles for being number 1 again this week. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. This is this week's power rankings, 8 through 1. Again, the Eagles are on top. So thank you for everybody for coming out. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. So do me a favor. If you're here listening, you still made it to number 1. take this video, grab the link, share it on your socials, tag Coach Evans in it so I can see it, and let's help this channel grow. So I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace and love.